Welcome to the end of day review for Friday, the 19th of January 2024. Starting off with the economic calendar for today, what we can see is that we had some retail sales news for the GBP that was negative and thus prompted our buyers to be short throughout the London session. We then were waiting for some USD news to see if that will give us some reason to trade long for the day, but that didn't come through with positive USD news, supporting further shorts on GBPUSD. If you recall from the morning outlooks or the New York outlook, our bias enabled us to trade both directions provided that we could actually frame our ideas correctly. I'll quickly recap on what's happened on the 4 hours. So we've recently had a chalk right here. Uh, so we had a change of character right here, and like I said, we don't know if this is going to follow through in the sense that we're going to get a break of structure again and then confirm bearish market structure, or was this just a liquidity grab to fuel the move to continue the underlying bullish market structure. Because of the uncertainty, I mentioned that all of my trades need three requirements. The first being a substructure target, the second being 4H backing to any 15, 30 and 5 minute ideas that I want to play, and then obviously internal range liquidity to ensure that my targets are met. Having said all of that, what we can see is coming into this morning, we reacted to this pro-trend unconfirmed OB, giving us reasons to short, and then later in the day we actually tapped into this 4H OB, giving us reasons to long. However, at the time of tapping this OB, it was it was the start of the 8 o'clock candle, and in order to validate this substructure high, we need a candle closure below with a wick lower than the previous candles. So we had to wait until 12 p.m., i.e. the closure of this candle, to then validate that the substructure target was valid and that longs would make sense. From a daily perspective, the past 2 days we essentially neutralized our bearish daily bias, so there wasn't any daily bias for today. And then from a weekly perspective, in terms of if there was any indication to trade a particular direction, what we can see is that Thursday actually put in a new high of, actually no, sorry, Thursday didn't do anything. Usually if Thursday puts in a new high or low of the week, then we have an indication of which direction the week is likely to close. In this case, Thursday didn't put in a new high or low of the week, and thus our weekly bias is neutral. So yeah, we could trade in either direction. Starting off this morning, because we had that red folder GBP news which was negative for the GBP, we could only short. My idea was to take a short position in this POI, however we didn't quite tap it, and then we moved away. At the time of moving away, we then moved deeper into this 4H OB, which then validated a secondary leg on the 5 minute, which then invalidated directly trading from the primary leg right here, which then meant that if we wanted to short, we needed to validate a secondary leg, which would then invalidate the long secondary leg and validate a short secondary leg. But the issue we were facing is that the fib needed to be anchored to the high of the day or the low of the day. In this case, the high of the day, because we're wanting to short, and because the high of the day is quite far, what that meant was we weren't getting valid POI alignment where we were getting short secondary leg OBs. Essentially, we then ultimately moved forward to the London lull, in which case shorts were invalid until the London range was taken out. And at the start of the New York session, I said if I was going to short, obviously I need the London range to be liquidated, which would be as follows. This London range to be liquidated to the upside, coming into this primary leg with fib support, and then having that secondary leg validation on the 5 minute to then short. And of course we would need the US news to align, although not necessarily for the shorts, because we already had GBP news to support the shorts, and we only really needed the New York news if we were going to long, which I'll chat about just now. But in terms of the shorts, essentially perhaps just to draw it out, I wanted New York to come up, take out this London range, have a new leg develop, anchor my foot. Well, I wouldn't need to anchor my foot because it's already there. I'll take an entry in this POI, stop loss right around here, and then obviously my targets being a 1 to 3, given that we're in a proton unconfirmed scenario. Having said all of that, that would have been my short ideas, which didn't materialize, as you can see. And then in terms of long ideas, the idea would have been that New York takes out the London low, New York puts in a new low of the day, and then having red folder news to support that New York low of the day will hold. Unfortunately, the New York news was actually positive for the USD, which then meant it supports actually continued shorts for GU. This doesn't fit in with my long narrative, and I couldn't get into any positions towards the end of this Friday session. So, all in all, a really terrible week in terms of trading activity. But like I said, my generally January is quite crappy for me. So I take this with a pinch of salt and just continue doing some hindsight testing and whatnot, just to reaffirm to myself that I do indeed have an edge, and this is just something I need to essentially power through for this month. All in all, have a good weekend, and we'll chat again on Monday for the London Outlook.